What's going on, guys? This is DrChris here, back with another Pokemon Showdown replay, and I'm back from vacation, which hopefully explains why I haven't uploaded in the last week or two. So, thank you for bearing with me. In this battle, we're going to be talking about how to shift the momentum back in your favor if you've lost it due to hacks or just a misplay, and how crucial that is to winning games. In this battle, you're going to see a lot of critical points, they're called, which I'm going to discuss in another video, probably my next one. There are a lot of critical points in a battle where you have to make a prediction, whereas it renders other turns not meaningless. You still have to play smart, but there are certain turns where you just have to make something happen with calculated risk that can turn the tides in your favor again. So now I know this Ferrothorn can be a bit of a nuisance to my team, so I am just going to get the burn on it with Rotom right here. And I think I Volt Switch on out into my either Scizor or Amoonguss. I go into Amoonguss because I do have HP Fire, and this Ferrothorn will not be able to do anything to me. And I did want to go into my Scizor on the prospect of a double Leech Seed, which he does do. And I go for HP Fire here. Now, I'm just going to pause it. I thought it was way too obvious, like, that I shouldn't go for another HP, or I shouldn't go for Spore, because I thought, look, after this turn he's gonna, after burn, okay. Now he's in range of dying to HP Fire. I originally clicked Spore, and then I canceled. I'm like, you know what, he's too low of health. I don't see any reason to keep this Ferrothorn alive, and he definitely would not want to risk me going for Spore. Unfortunately, he does make the very, in my mind it was an odd play, but I guess it ended up working out for him. Just the prospect of a Spore might have scared him off. And so this is shitty. I have to switch into Spikes and the crit, and I can't risk it. Like, I have to go for a Bullet Punch. If I don't go for a Bullet Punch there, I lose the game. And I know I need this Scizor, or else I 100% lose to his Kyurem. So already I'm in a shitty situation, just because he crit me there. Now, again, he brings it, he goes right into Kyurem. And, because he could make that play. I have no other play to make. I had to go into Amoonguss there. I knew he was going to Volt Switch, but I had to, because I couldn't sack my Scizor. I'm still looking for that opportunity to get the Roost off. Now, I believe, yeah, I go back into Amoonguss, because I know my T-Tar still could be of some use. And again, he gets the free switch into Kyurem. I think at this point, was it that I might sack T-Tar here. Yeah, I go into my T-Tar as Death Fodder, as he ends up revealing the Roost. And this play kind of struck me as weird. I don't know if he was scouting for me being Scarfed or something, but I ended up going for Rock Slide just in case he wanted to stay in an Earth Power and it not kill. And I thought he was going to Earthquake. I thought that was so obvious, me bringing in my Scizor, but that was a critical point in the game where I had to make that essentially a 50-50 play. I think the odds were more in my favor to go into Scizor, because in his mind, just get up rocks to kill the Scizor, if nothing else. Like, I haven't revealed Roost yet, I don't think. I don't believe I've revealed Roost. So, there is a small chance that he doesn't go for EQ. In turn, the odds were in my favor to get the Roost off there with my Scizor. And it was essentially a risk I needed to make, because otherwise I would have gotten no opportunity in the rest of the game to heal up my Scizor. And now I just go for the return, because I know it will be able to take out the Ferrothorn if it does want to switch in. Sandrush, Stoutland, it's okay. It's not as good as I would have wanted it to be, but I'm not complaining. It against some offense teams, it definitely does do things better than Excadrill, in my opinion. But either way, I'm going to go for the Pain Split here, because I know this is going to be a huge problem for his team as soon as this Kyurem dies. And I make a misplay here. I don't know why he stayed in. I guess just because most Garchomps aren't offensive these days. Just so he thought he would just outspeed and take me out. In hindsight, should I have gone for Outrage? I still don't think so, because either way I get this free switch into my Scizor, which is nice. But, you know, having that Kyurem dead definitely would have, basically right there sealed the game for Amoonguss, and I could have just essentially stalled the rest of his team out. Now, I know he probably, since he's gone for Volt Switch every turn, he was, most likely, in my opinion, going to go for the Wisp, and, because he wants to whittle down this Amoonguss, because since he doesn't have Hazards up anymore, Volt Switching right out into Kyurem may or may not be his best play, because my team is, I essentially have to sack one more thing, and then Scizor can come back in, roost up to full health, and probably just beat his team, essentially. So Wisp was a good play to help whittle down my Amoonguss for the rest of his team. And really, regaining momentum is such an important factor. Yeah, I do end up sacking my Stoutland here because it is my least important mon at this point. It is essentially a liability because he does have Hippo. He has everything else to outspeed it. It wouldn't kill Rotom. It was basically dead weight at that point. Again, I am just going to play basic. Not basic. Right there, I play basic by going for Bullet Punch to force out his Rotom. So this is one of those critical points, one of those momentum shifting moments. I go for Bullet Punch, essentially forcing him out into his Rotom. If he goes out into his Rotom, I know that he has already burnt my Amoonguss. Since my Scizor is at around the range of 2 Earth Powers killing almost, and definitely would with a Spadef drop, I figured that he would try and Volt Switch into his Kyurem to get the offensive pressure on me. I know that he's going to Volt Switch, so I do stay in with my Scizor, and I will be able to get the Roost off. He ends up going into Hippowdon because it is basically his only safe switch. Excadrill wouldn't have been able to handle me too well. And now I can just U-turn into my Rotom, and now I'm in the driver's seat. I have basically complete control of this match. I go for Will-O-Wisp and burn his Rotom, which probably will be helpful to me. Now, again, since my Scizor is at full health, I can proceed to Volt Switch into my Amoonguss because I don't care if he Volt Switches in a Kyurem. I do have the Scizor to counter it, and basically at this point, there's nothing he can do because he gave me that momentum of healing up my Scizor and giving me control of the match again. And that is such an important factor when you play this game, is to always keep off, whether it be offensive momentum or if you're using a bulkier team, applying pressure to them like in the form of hazards. Having hazard control is also a huge factor. I do get the crit Giga Drain here. Whether or not that actually was important, I doubt, because his Rotom was slower than my Rotom and couldn't switch into a Scizor's U-turn, and I think after Bullet Punch plus Burn plus another Bullet Punch, it would have died regardless. I'm just going to go for the Bullet Punch here, as if he goes into anything, I can just U-turn on out. He does make the good play of going into Kyurem here, knowing I'm going to U-turn, so I have to bring out my Amoonguss or Rotom. I decided to bring in my Amoonguss because I know I'm just going to hard switch back into my Scizor, so no reason to get the residual on my Rotom because I can just regen it off with Amoonguss instead. He does go for the Ice Beam, I guess expecting me to stay in, but I have no reason to risk that. Even if he made the double there, it didn't affect me. And now I think, if you give me a second... Alright, I skipped forward a lot of turns because this battle was, I think, 51 turns long. It was pretty long just because... just rinse and repeat here. I just go into Scizor on the Kyurem, I Roost when necessary, and then I go into either Rotom or Amoonguss on the switch out. It's basically nothing he can do at this point because he did give me the opportunity to Roost off my Scizor. Whether or not EQ was his best play on the Scizor rather than getting up rocks with Hippo, I don't know. I really think in his mind he wasn't sure if I had it, even though on this team it's obviously my defogger. Well, it's not that my team necessarily needs defog 100%, but in my mind it was kind of apparent because I had no other like Metagross checks reliably, because he already figured out my Garchomp was offensive. But that is the end of the battle, so I hope you guys enjoyed, I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you give it a thumb up the butt. Really shows your appreciation. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.